I figured a nice short trip to New York to make sure, yes, this is just as rotten as I remembered. I made the right decision by staying in San Diego. It was a confidence trip.
Here's a 2-ball, 1-strike pitch. High and in. Almost got him. Man, that ball. Solomon can be a very tough customer. He is not a pleasant man when you hit him. He'll go after you a little bit. He's not afraid to chase you.
Pirates have a couple like that. Pascual Perez is of the same vein. He will go to Duke City, too.
Right down the horn. Bonilla taking all away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 1 down, no score, top of the first inning. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And it's ball 4. The Padres get a runner on. The Padres yesterday never got ahead. They were behind in both ball games. They lost the first one 4-2 and the nightcap 3-2. They'd love to get a little edge here to try to get things rolling. Gene Richards 1 for 8 in the doubleheader yesterday, batting at .267, hitting in that key number 3 spot. Kennedy behind him, then Jones, Bass, Salazar, LaFay, and Wise in that order. Outfield shade to the left, infield to the right. Fastball is high and in, ball 1. We talk about the split defense so often, Ted. They send the outfield one way, put the infield the other way, and this is something that's developed new, and I keep talking about it because it hasn't been seen much within the last maybe 2 or 3 years. The charts are what do it. Ground balls go one way, fly balls the other off of certain bats. 2 balls, no strikes. Solomon having trouble falling behind the hitter, Gene Richards. Bonilla at first. No score. First inning, 1 down. There goes Juan on a hit and run. Drive to right field. Parker grabs it and Bonilla has to get back. Richards hit it right on the snoot. Well, Richards didn't get going with the base hit, but that could be a good sign. Solomon is a fastball pitcher, and Richards jacked up on that one pretty good.
Number 16, Terry Kennedy.
Terry Kennedy is under some pressure in this series. Right behind home plate in the first row is his father. Now, you know that's got to make you a little nervous.
In this case, especially nervous since his dad knows a little bit about baseball.
Something or other, yes. Terry batting at .300. Good curveball right in there. Kennedy went 2 for 6 in yesterday's doubleheader. This is the kind of a year where nobody is going to get tired. The mid-season was a long layoff. So in effect, the season started on August the 10th. No balls, 2 strikes. Pretty good pair of hands. We had one little girl down there one day who missed 7 out of 7.
The pressure was on and she choked.
No score. Top of the first, 2 down, 2 strikes on Kennedy. Infield, a little to the right side, outfield deep. Terry has a good bat control. He can stay at home plate. Rarely, unless he chases a bad pitch, misses. When he swings at it, he'll get a piece of it. Big, strong catcher, 220 pounds. Does not hit for power yet because he's not going for it, but he will someday. He's a lot like Mike Ivey, who had averaged 6 or 7 home runs a year for the Padres. Then he got away and started to mature and got into the 20s. Pena can throw the best of them. Excellent. Watch that young catcher. He's good. A ball and 2 strikes. Tony Pena might have been the most sought-after ball player in the minor leagues last year by all clubs. Catchers are a very rare commodity. Solomon's move is not all that good. You can run on him if you get the right guy over there. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 down, no score, top of the first. Padres and the Buccos. That one's going to drop in, base hit. Kennedy may have broken his bat, but he lofted it into the center field, and the Padres had runners at first and second, 2 down. Kennedy just dropped one into center field, and that's the way he hits. Good bat control.
Yeah, it did sound like Terry broke the bat. And this is something the Padres would love to be able to do. They've not been able to do that, have not had the instinct to get a big inning, and need, as Jerry said, when a pitcher isn't in the groove, to get to him early, get the big inning, and end things. The Padres were down twice in that doubleheader yesterday, as the Pirates scored at least one in the first inning in both games. Of course, the first one was the 3-run shot by Parker to get them up, and that gives a pitcher a whole lot of leeway to pitch with a lead the whole way.
Here's Rupert Jones. Rupe takes a strike. Curveball dropped in there. Rupert batting at .247, a couple of homers and 20 RBIs. I think a classic of getting off to a good start is Steve Muir yesterday, who gave up the 3-run homer to Parker and then closed the door just like a bolt coming down. They did nothing for the next 5 innings. But by then, as they say, the horse was out of the barn. At first base, second base, Juan Bonilla. And at first base, Terry Kennedy. 1-1 the count, 2 down. No score. Padres trying to move out in front quickly. On the ground to Montanez. He'll take it all by himself, and the Padres are out of there in the first inning. After a half inning, San Diego nothing, Pittsburgh coming up.
This Bud's for the guys who make our engines purr like a kitten and roar like a lion.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The King of Beers is coming true.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
Boise Cascade, building material centers.
We're the store that started as a lumber yard, and we buy in quantities that keep our prices down. So when you plan to add a room, panel a wall, put up shelving, or build a deck, come to Boise Cascade for quality home products. And at the same time, you can pick up the tools, the hardware, and the paint to complete just about any home do-it-yourself project.
Boise Cascade.
From Hollywood, it's everybody's favorite game of strategy, knowledge, and fun. It's tic-tac-toe. You don't have to be a contestant in Hollywood to play tic-tac-toe. Just turn to Channel 8 and you can play right at home.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie are the nephews of one of Walt Disney's best-known creations, Donald Duck. Morty and Ferdy are nephews of another famous Disney character, Manon.
Be challenged by questions in a variety of different subjects, from Disney to physics. Play along with tic-tac-toe, weeknights at 7 on Channel 8.
Well, we talked about Terry Kennedy's dad. See the guy in the funny white hat? That's Bertie Tebbetts, former catcher with Detroit and Boston. Right next to him to the right is Bob Kennedy, the former general manager of the Chicago Cubs, and now scouting for the Cubs, and that's Terry's dad. He's right there to tell him what he did wrong. Let's try the defense for Ted Leitner. I know he's all set to go.
All righty, Jared. Brandy Bass, number 5 at first base for San Diego. Our pregame guest, Juan Bonilla at second. There's Ozzie, the shortstop. Luis Salazar, third baseman. The Padre outfield, that's Gene Richardson left. Rupert Jones in center field. And the right fielder is Joe LaFay. Gentleman we've been speaking about here with his dad in attendance, Terry Kennedy. And on the mound, the right-hander, Rick Wise. Good 6-inning plus stint his last time out at the beginning of this road trip in St. Louis. Has not been able to really produce a whole lot from a record standpoint. But he's been pitching well.
You know, Ted, his ERA of 3.32 is about as good as anybody on the staff, with the exception of Chris Welsh and Juan Eichelberger, and yet he's not winning. That 2-5 makes it look like he's having a bad year, but he's not at all.
It's true.
Rick Wise, 35-year-old right-hander, 168 wins, going after Omar Moreno, who yesterday scored 4 runs, walked 3 times, and on top of that went 3 for 5. He had himself some afternoon in the doubleheader. Average at 272, no homers, 20 RBIs. He is a man who loves to run. Ball one outside.
For Moreno, number 326 consecutively after playing both games of the doubleheader yesterday.
He's a wire. He's bigger than people realize. He goes about 6'3" or 4. Big, long-legged speedster. Stole 96 bases last year. Not bad. The 2-0 pitch to Omar. Right center field. Rupert, better hurry. Can't get it. It drops. So Marino now is 4 for 6 in the series. Drops a single in the center.
Well, as Jerry told you, he spent most of the doubleheader yesterday on base, scoring 4 times. Good, complete ball play with the speed, can play some center, can hit.
Number 10, Tim Foley.
This broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of Budweiser, Toyota, and Union Oil with the permission of the San Diego Padres. Any rebroadcast or other use of the broadcast without express consent is prohibited.
Here's Tim Foley, good hit-and-run man. Yesterday went 1 for 5 in the doubleheader, batting at .257. A great man for Marino because he'll take a pitch on Marino. Can't run. Wise will give that high kick, and he can run on him. Kennedy will have to be alert on this one. You got one of the best base runners going, and Wise is a guy who does not get rid of the ball too quickly. Let's see how it develops. Look at the lead by Marino. He's just testing Wise. No score. Bucks put their first man on. The same thing happened in the first game yesterday. Marino doubled in that one. He was on to start both games. There he goes. If we can get a replay of what Foley did to try to upset Kennedy, that was a stroke of pure veteranism. Look what Foley does. Now, as Marino goes, Foley sticks his bat right in front of Kennedy. Well, you don't see that, but Marino has no trouble at all stealing that base because the ball popped out of Kennedy's glove as Foley just kept his bat out there and moved it back at the last split second. It keeps the catcher back and it makes it hard for him to handle it.
25 stolen bases for Marino. He can move.
And the bunt is a dandy. Marino now at third base. So a base hit, a stolen base, and a sacrifice. Pittsburgh with a runner at third and one away, and the big guy coming on. And I got to get this one in right now, Ted, because it's very interesting. Dave Parker was blasting the team position because the team position said a hip pointer is when you're not hitting and you point to your hip, accusing Parker of maybe dogging it. And Parker says a jackass is a team doctor that tries to tell jokes. Now, that has to be a happy crew down there.
No kidding.
I mean, that's quoted, folks. I had to make that up. There it is, right there in the paper.
Yep. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
You notice that little white thing on Dave's ear? That's a diamond earring. Outside for a ball. See that right there?
Yep.
I've never mentioned it when I talked to him.
When you look up, that has a tendency to make one humble.
He's a super guy, and he can play, believe me. He's had a lot of injuries. He's played hurt a lot of the time. The 1-0 pitch. Left field, that should do it. With Marino's speed, he'll coast in from third. Parker gets the sacrifice fly. Pittsburgh moves ahead 1-0 in the first inning. So Dave Parker drives in a big run. Bucks on top. That'll bring up Bill Madlock, who has taken over the National League lead in hitting.
Number 5, Bill
Madlock went by Andre Dawson. Madlock at 330. Rose at 328. Pete had a couple of hits today, so he might be moving on. I'm on Dawson at 328 in the National League. 2 down, run across. Bucks lead at 1-0. We're in the bottom of the first. Ball 1.
If you'd like to keep up with the numbers, Parker 33 RBIs. Might keep the booze off him for about 10 more minutes here in Pittsburgh today.
And Ozzie grabs a line drive. Not well hit off of Bill Madlock. So there's a run on the board on one base hit after 1 inning. Pittsburgh 1, San Diego 0.
Your Toyota dealer's picking up a great deal for you. Oh, man, get it. He's got sales incentives from Toyota to sell a whole herd of trucks this month, so you can cook up a deal on America's best-selling small trucks. Toyota's prices may never be lower, but act fast to get America's best import selection of long beds, standard beds, 4x4s, even 3/4 ton. Kick up your heels and cook up a deal on Toyota.
And that's no bum steers.
I signed up for one of those tax-free savings accounts.
Oh?
Yeah, I'm earning 17%, and it's tax-free October 1st.
I sure need a tax break, but...
But what?
Well, what if the rates go down? You can't get your money out.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. They won't let you.
Yes, I can.
If you sign up for a tax-free account at Home Savings Now, you can change your mind and withdraw your money anytime before October 1st, and you'll earn 17% until then. Tax-free accounts at Home Savings and Loan.
Beautiful drink. Tap Cola for beautiful people. Tap Cola. You're beautiful to me. Real cola tastes just 1 calorie. Tap Cola for beautiful drink. Tap Cola for beautiful people. Tap Cola. It's beautiful to be so good and sugar-free. Tap.
Number 5, Randy Bass.
Here's Randy Bass coming on for the San Diego Padres, batting in that key number 6 spot. He'll be followed by Luis Salazar and Joe LaFay. On the mound, Ed Solomon. Solomon, a big guy. That's one of the best balls that Bass has turned on in some time. He got out in front of a fastball off Ed Solomon, who's 6'3", 200-pounder, and ripped it down that right field line.
Ball girl played the carom terribly.
Well, that's 1 for 2. We'll keep track. The 1-strike pitch to Randy. Curveball. Solomon's breaking ball has been very good. Bass is batting at .223 with 4 homers and 18 RBIs, and Solomon's breaking ball appears to be a better pitch tonight thus far than his fastball. Richards turned on the fastball and ripped it into right field into Parker's waiting glove. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Don't forget, Padres, after going to Chicago, get back on Thursday the 27th. It'll be family bargain night. All reserve seats cut in half. General admission only $1. Count rolls at a ball and 2 strikes. And then on Saturday the 29th, after taking Friday off, it'll be Dow T-shirt night. It'll be a twilight doubleheader against the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals in town Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Join us at the big ballpark when the Padres come home. Count rolls at a ball and 2 strikes. Outfield dead straight away to Bass, deep. Infield plays him almost like an exaggerated pull, especially the shortstop Foley is almost behind second, way over there. Deep at second, Garner, Martinez off the line at first base. They bunch him in the middle in most cases. And Randy driving here with a hit of Parker. There's the AstroTurf for you. Oh, man. Bass is going to end up with 3. Dave Parker got too close to the ball, and you saw what happened. And that's the danger of the synthetic field.
Let's make Dave feel at home. Boo. They were on his case, have been all year, in fact from last year. Now watch the play here. Knows it's going to be a hit, but came in too close, as Jerry said. Needless to say, on grass, that's a base hit, single, and that's all. But there is Randy on his way to third. It's gotten to the point where Parker, there is trade talk, and it might be for the betterment in terms of how he's accepted here if he did play someplace else. He's a great talent, but they do not like him right now.
Luis Salazar had a big doubleheader yesterday, went 5 for 8, hitting at .298, has a home run and 18 RBIs, and that one was ball 1. But when you talk about Dave Parker, don't mention trade to Chuck Tanner, the Pittsburgh manager. He gets very nervous.
Yeah, that's the kind of trade that the fans would make a lot faster than Chuck would.
On the ground and in the hole. No chance for Foley to do anything. And the Padres, just like that, 2 batters, a run across, a runner at first base, and the number 8 hitter, Joe LaFay, stepping in. Padres tie it up.
Luis has had a great time here so far in 2 days against his former club, which wrote him off, and it must be greatly satisfying to see. You should see Foley go in the hole, make the backhand stop it, had no chance at all to get Salazar, no chance at all to get Randy Bass. But Salazar 5 for 8 yesterday, and now starts out here, infield single, RBI. We are tied.
1-1 ball game, second inning. Here's Joe LaFay. He'll be followed by Rick Wise. LaFay has had his troubles, batting only at .229, 1 for 7. Joe doubled and scored the second Padre run in the first game yesterday. Strike 2. And Joe would love to have that one back. That was a good fastball right out over the plate at the belt. Joe leads the Padres in home runs with 6, has 17 RBIs. Well hit. And they're going after Solomon. Salazar's going to try third. He'll make it easy, and the Padres, still with nobody out, have runners at the corners. Salazar scoots over to third. LeFay rips one to center field, and Solomon having a battle himself.
Well, he put the Padres down. He had a little bit of trouble with a walk at a base hit in the first. Here is LeFay, which is the third hit of this inning. So Solomon has gotten exactly no one out. And, of course, the misplay by Parker in right field looms extremely large, adding to the fact that Solomon is struggling. You saw Montañez holding on LeFay. Wise will be the batter.
Rick Wise with runners at first and third. Nobody out. Padres with a chance to have a big inning. Way outside, breaking ball. Rick batting at .056. The Bucks currently are 5-7 in the National League East. They're 2.5 behind the front-running St. Louis Cardinals, who are 6-3. Just getting underway. Baseball's second half. Bad pitch, and Rick went after it. 1 ball, 1 strike. One tie, second inning. Padres got a triple from Bass, a single from Salazar to drive Bass across, a single by LeFay to put Salazar at third. 1-1 pitch. 2 balls, 1 strike. The 2-1 pitch, and the suicide squeeze has Salazar hung up. But the ball is dropped by Madlock, and they get him at the plate. A good play by Ed Solomon to get Salazar on a missed suicide squeeze. Well, that's a tough break for the Padres.
All you got to do is make contact, and the run is home. He just flat out missed the ball, so Louis is obviously dead coming down. Although, if the ball rolled a little bit further away from Matlock right there, went off his knee, and Matlock made a heck of a recovery and an underhand throw to Solomon to get it. Came close to blowing it. Padres tried it in St. Louis, and it was fouled off when they had Gene Richards coming down the line. Wise could not make contact.
2-5-1 if you're keeping score, and all the way to third base is LeFay. And Wise now takes it outside. They asked for the appeal from the first base umpire. Plate umpire said, nope, no appeal on that one. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Well, that's frustrating. I know what happens when they munt the ball right through, and that guy's standing staring at the catcher. Frozen at third base is LeFay, and out at first base is Wise. So the play goes 6-3.
And Budweiser introduces the new 12-pack, a half case of ice-cold Budweiser in non-returnable bottles. Now more than ever, this Bud's for you.
Shortstop Ozzie Smith.
Runner at third base, Joe LeFay. Ozzie will try to get him across. It's a 1-1 ball game. Top of the second inning. Whoops. Ooh, man, look out there, Wiz. Ball 1. If it hits you, it won't hurt. Because you go down. You don't feel much. A 1-0 pitch. Ozzie drills one to right field. Padres take the lead 2-0. Make that 2-1. Good bit of hitting by Ozzie Smith. He ripped the fastball inside part of the plate to right field for a solid single.
17 RBIs for the Wiz. That has to be satisfying since Solomon came right at his face on the first one, a fastball up high. They drive him down, and Ozzie comes right back, digs in, and lines one solidly to right field. 2-1 San Diego.
Padres with 4 hits in this inning, 5 overall, are leading 2-1. Ozzie will run if he gets the chance. Bonilla at the plate. Let's see how it develops. Get Ozzie mad. He'll really go after you. This scrappy little guy. There's where the number 2 hitter does get an advantage now and then with a man that can run. He'll get a lot of pitch outs. And that's to his advantage because Bonilla now is ahead of the pitcher. 1 ball, no strikes. See if they do it again. 2 balls, no strikes. 2-0 the count. Triple by Bass, singles by Salazar and LaFay. The missed suicide squeeze blew one, but then Ozzie ripped a single to right field. Padres lead it 2-1. Outfield shades to the right side. Bonilla will hit it that way. Pena, the young catcher, keep your eye on him. He has an excellent arm and very quick reactions. High 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes. Solomon struggling in this inning.
Juan's moved around as you look at Solomon in the lineup. 8th, 6th earlier in this trip, then 3rd, now 2nd. I asked him on the pregame if he cared. He said he really didn't worry about it.
3 balls, 1 strike. Did he say where he'd like to hit most?
He said clean up, and I said I'll talk to Frank, see what I can do for you. But don't get your hopes up.
All right, all right. Bonilla batting .286. See if Ozzie goes 3-1. There he goes. Up the middle. Foley can't get it. Dribbles behind. Foley into the outfield. Garner's up with it, and Ozzie with a big speed gets to 3rd. Man, can he run. What instincts.
See, the ball did not get past Foley and Garner too far. A lot of players, I think, with less speed and confidence and heads-up play. Now watch here. Not very far away. Ozzie just never. He made his decision. He just was going to 3rd. And Garner had no chance to get him. The Wiz can play, you know?
Yeah, I'll say one thing about Solomon. He is making a lot of bad pitches. He's throwing the ball right down the middle, and ball players love that. Get it out over the plate down the middle. They think it's just fine. Here's Gene Richards, who lined out to right field in the 1st inning. Padres trying to have a big one. Curveball in there for a strike. That's the most effective pitch that Solomon has had since he's been out there. Perez is running down to possibly pick up some pitching for Solomon, who is floundering out there at the moment. 1 strike pitch. Tried the breaking ball and missed this time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ozzie at 3rd base. At 1st base, Bonilla. Richards hitting 3rd. Padres lead it 2-1. We're in the top of the 2nd inning. Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Fouled off. I haven't gotten around to explaining that this year.
Three Rivers?
The Allegheny and the Monongahela meet to form the Ohio.
Nicely done.
I thought so. I have to do that once a trip into Pittsburgh. Right out behind right field. If you can look over right field, you can find it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ooh, Richards has hit 2 on the button, has nothing to show for it. And the Padres pick up 2 runs. After 1.5, San Diego 2, Pittsburgh 1.
This Bud's for the guys who got what it takes to shake, rattle, and keep on rolling.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The King of Beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
That's a terrific car.
You want it? It's yours. Cheap.
Cheap? They don't make them like that anymore.
I know, but a beauty like that deserves leaded premium gas. That's hard to find these days.
I can find it.
Where?
Right there.
Union 76 still has leaded premium?
Union 76 Super, one of the best leaded premiums around. Now, still want to sell that car cheap?
Cheap? They don't make them like this anymore.
Go with the spirit.
Where you could still get leaded premium.
The spirit of 76.
Good evening, ladies and germs. I'm sorry I'm late, but my watch stopped. It had to. It's been running fast all week.
Running your weekday afternoons with comedy.
This question of the game is brought to you by Food Basket from Bob Chang, C-H-A-N-G, of 733 Santa Olivia in Solana Beach. He wants to know who threw the pitch when Hank Aaron hit his 715th home run, and what team did he play for? We're going to have that answer for you, I think, about the 6th inning. Who threw the pitch when Hank Aaron hit home run number 715 to surpass Babe Ruth's all-time record? If we look at Frank Howard, who can hit him like Hank Aaron, too. He had a few for distance. Here's Mike Easler batting at 307, 2 for 4 in the doubleheader yesterday. Overlapping grip. Look at that right hand over the knob, outside for a ball. See that right hand? Watch. Some guys like to get the feel of that thing right in the palm of their hand. Look at that. Got to be strong to carry a bat that way. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Easler, the 307, has 7 home runs and 32 RBIs attached to it. Rick Wise sitting on top of a 2-1 lead. We're in the bottom of the second inning. It'll be Easler, Pena, and Montanez coming up, the first 3 hitters. Mike struggled long and hard to get to the big leagues and finally made it the last 2 years. He has done very well. Good curveball. Swung over the top of that. That was a good slider by Rick Wise. He's got a good one. Rick, 35-year-old right-hander, going up against Ed Solomon, a 30-year-old right-hander for the Buccos. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Second inning just underway for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Easler got his wish, got home to Cleveland at the All-Star game. In fact, he got home earlier than that. He didn't expect to be taking any vacations back home during July, but as it turned out, he was able to do that, much to the chagrin of Mike, the Pirates, and most of the baseball fans in America. But he got to go back, which was his goal, and he was hitting and playing well. If they had probably continued balloting and playing and so forth, without the strike, he probably would have been voted to the team. Probably, well, I wouldn't say voted to it, but certainly added to it without any qualms.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Easler trying to get something going for Pittsburgh. Hop foul. Well, we'd like to say hi to John Candelaria, who's out in San Diego, I'm sure, watching this ball game. He's had some arm problems, and your old buddy, Wilbur Stargell, said hi, Candy, from him and all of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Get well soon. They need you. They're going for a battle, for a race. They need you in it.
Most definitely. Torn bicep muscle, which for a pitcher is an occupational detriment and hazard, and they must have him on that staff.
Not that deep, as Joe LaFay will handle it. 1 away. Easler skies high to short right field, and look at LaFay. You don't think he isn't in the ball game? He's out in right field. Now, that's an infielder's job. You know, the infielders always turn around, tell everybody how many outs. He tells everybody how many outs from right field, and nobody's looking at him. Except me. Tony Pena batting at 327. 2 for 7 in the doubleheader yesterday. Hasn't been up that much. 2 home runs, 11 RBIs. They have brought this young man along slowly, and he has taken over as number 1 behind the plate. Excellent defensive catcher, and is hitting as well. And there you see the whiz. Doesn't look hard, but he just makes it look easier than that. 2 up, 2 down. Second inning for the Buccos. Here's Willie Montanez stepping up. Willie got here yesterday in time for the doubleheader. Now, he wasn't unhappy in Montreal from the standpoint of the city, but he was very unhappy from the standpoint that it was hardly playing. He came here with a batting average of about 177. Yesterday's doubleheader, he went 0 for 4. That's down to 167, but he hasn't been up 60 times. He's glad to be here, glad where he can play, and he's a tough cookie in the clutch when he gets rolling. He's only 33 years old. He has also spent time with 10 different clubs. Ball 1, likes the ball out and away. He can hit the ball to left field with anybody.
Did you get along well with him last year?
Yeah, I had no trouble at all. Came out to play. Good hit and run man. Best bat control of anybody on the club. And that ball is foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. What you can do with Montanez is, if you don't want to bunt, you can start the runner, and he will hit that ball. If it's over his head on the ground, he will get a hold of it. Excellent bat control. You can play a game with him. He doesn't scare easy either. Good when you need the run. Good clutch hitter. Well, Willie dropped one into left field.